Year's Stanek Touring Car Challenge went all the way to the wire. Going into the final rounds of the series at East London, just 5 points separated championship leader Sean van der Linde and reigning champion Mike Briggs. There was plenty of pressure on BMW Envirocar factory driver Sean van der Linde in East London. Apart from his role in the destiny of the championship, van der Linde is set to represent South Africa at the FIA Touring Car World Cup at Donington on Sunday. Fresh from 2 maiden victories for the Minolta Toyota Camry squad at the Goldfields Raceway, Mike White continued with the team's resurgence at the famous East London Grand Prix circuit and put the Minolta Camry on pole position. Stanek proudly present highlights of rounds 21 and 22 of the Stanek SA Touring Car Championship from East London. After 20 rounds on 6 circuits throughout South Africa, the Stanek Touring Car Championship was heading for a dream finish, with 2 men in contention for the title. Defending champion Mike Briggs had his 1-point lead at Welcome whittled away to a 5-point deficit against former South African and Formula GTI champion Sean van der Linde. The Mercedes-Benz National Race Day at East London included the final event in the 1994 Stanek SA Touring Car Challenge. Title contender Sean van der Linde had worked out his strategy for the race.
Sean has been very good to me this year regarding the championship. He's helping me. He was helping me a couple of races, and thanks to him, I'm leading the championship at this point in time. If it gets to that stage, I'm sure he'll have to help me there.
We'll have to sort of look through all the permutations of the points and so on. Essentially, we're trying to win the race tomorrow. For Sean to win the race, that's the objective, to get as many points as possible.
On the other side of the fence were the Opel team, with Grant McCleary in his PG Autoglass car in a supporting role for defending champion Michael Briggs. Briggs had battled with some mechanical maladies at the previous event, and he knew exactly what was expected from him.
It's not over yet, you know. Welcome, Sean went off on the first corner. The racing is just so close, and there's a lot of guys out there still wanting to just win the race, and I think that's going to make things pretty interesting, because both Sean and I will want to stay out of trouble. But the position for me is I need to beat him, and I need to beat him with 2 or 3 places in between to have a chance to win the championship. And that's a tall order.
McCleary also knew what would be expected from him.
So obviously we all want to keep it clean. But I just got to go and hassle Sean. That's really what I got to do. I've got to get to him first, and I've really got to hassle him, you know. And Michael's got to get a gap, and he's got to go.
Anthony Taylor's strategy was clear-cut.
I think at the moment I will help Sean in his championship, because maybe the future for me with BMW could mean a lot more. So I'm going to do as best as I can, try to keep Briggs behind me and let Sean try to get past Dion, and we'll see what happens in the race.
Official qualifying, and the 10 Class A and 3 Class B cars took to the track. With the cars very evenly matched in the speed and handling departments, a good grip position was vital. Former National Rally champion Hannes Krobler in the BP Nissan Sentra was 6th in the championship behind his teammate Nick de Waal, and wanted to end the season on a high note. Current SA Rally champ Serge Damso gave his Castrol Toyota Camry its South African debut at Welcome and hoped to build on the car's good performance. Anthony Taylor's Motorplan BMW 318i had been hassling the front-runners, and the former South African national champion would definitely be a force to be reckoned with. He was lying in 7th position in the championship, but he only really got it together after his sponsorship came through in the middle of the season. Minute adjustments to suspension setups make a big difference to lap times, and the aerodynamics also play an important role on a high-speed circuit such as East London. Mike Briggs' Opel Astra was sporting the new spoiler and wing that was allowed on all cars from the Goldfields event, and he was savouring the car's improved handling on the long straights of the historic Grand Prix circuit. Apart from the battle between Briggs and van der Linde, the manufacturer's title was also still wide open, with BMW leading Opel by 15 points. Qualifying is never without its problems, and Nissan's Nick de Waal, who's had mixed fortunes during the season, explained why he'd been struggling with his BP Sentra.
Had our fair share of problems. We were one of the fastest cars around, and then in qualifying the left rear wheel bearing gave a problem. so we never had a chance to put up a good flying lap. Hence the fact that we on the back of the grid.
Grant McCleary's plans to be close to Briggs and van der Linde didn't come together, and he brought in his PG Autoclass Opel Astra to make some adjustments to cure his handling problems. Sean van der Linde, who with teammate Dion Joubert drives his BMW Enviro car on unleaded fuel, was fighting hard to put in a good qualifying lap, since half his problems with Michael Briggs would be over if he qualified in a better grid position. He has just turned 24 and is also heading to Donington in England to compete in the FIA Touring Car World Cup on the 16th of October. A good qualifying lap may be a win, and the title is exactly what he wants at this point in his career. His BMW Enviro car teammate Dion Joubert, who raced in the World Cup last year, was optimistic about their chances.
The all-drive car is much quicker through sweeps, and we're hoping that's where our advantage will lie tomorrow. I think we're quicker up this around the fast sweep, and they're a bit quicker in the complex, and hopefully we'll have the advantage because of that.
Mike White, fresh from his success at Goldfields, once again put in an excellent performance in the Minolta Toyota Camry. The car is powered by a British-built Tom's engine from Dave Cook Racing Services in England, who also built the Castrol Camry of Serge Damso. The two cars have proved to be competitive right from the word go, and were proving to be a thorn in the side of the other teams once again in East London.
Dave Cook has done a superb job of setting the car for me. The Camry is going so well, and it's our second pole in a row, and we've just got to try and keep it going.
Mike White planted the Minolta Camry firmly on pole position for the race, just 1/10 of a second faster than Dion Joubert in the BMW Enviro car. On the second row was Sean van der Linde, who held an advantage of just 0.02 of a second over Anthony Taylor in his Motorplan BMW. Alongside him was Mike Briggs in his Opel Astra, 0.3 of a second ahead of the Castrol Toyota Camry of Serge Damso. Grant McCleary in the PG Autoglass Opel Astra is on row 4, pipping Nick de Val's BP Nissan Sentra by 1/10 of a second. The fifth row of the grid is shared by the second BP Nissan Sentra of Hannes Krobler and the speedy car sales Vauxhall Cavalier of Farouk Dangor. Duncan Foss led the B-Class on the grid. One of the great circuits of South Africa, the Grand Prix track in East London, is a fine mixture of high-speed straights and corners with a tight section halfway round just to ruffle the feathers of the drivers. It's Mike White on the left and Dion Joubert next to him, and they're off. A great start by Sean van der Linde from third on the grid as he squeezes in between the two. We're with van der Linde, who's next to Mike White, but it seems as if he's got a problem with his gearbox. Yes, he definitely missed a gear change there, and the whole field comes streaming past. There's Taylor. Briggs comes past, and so do Damso and White. Things are getting a bit physical through Potters, but what a tragedy for van der Linde. And Mike Briggs probably can't believe his luck. Dion Joubert leads Anthony Taylor, and they've opened up a handy little gap to White, Briggs, Damso, and the rest of the field. Joubert defends his position into the hairpin by forcing Taylor to take the outside line. Now we're in with Michael Briggs in fourth position, who's managed to stay out of trouble and at the same time dispose of his biggest rival, Sean van der Linde. Up ahead, it's White, Taylor and Joubert into the arena. This is a beautiful camera shot as the field streams into the tight section of the track. It's Joubert, Taylor, White, Briggs, Damso, McCleary, de Waal, van der Linde is down to 8th, followed by Krobler, Dangor and Duncan Foss leading Class B. Out of the arena for the first time, and there's nothing between the first four cars. White takes a look on the inside, but wisely decides to tuck back into line. There's plenty of time for that later. Briggs also defends his position against Damso. Into the start and finish straight for the first time with Mike Briggs in his Astra. He needs to keep as many cars between him and Sean van der Linde to make up that 5-point deficit. The wind blowing from the right is making things pretty unstable at this speed down the straight. Mike White once again takes a look on the inside of the sweep, but it's not quite close enough to Anthony Taylor's BMW. Through the sweep at 200 kilometers per hour, flat out in 6th, and those tyres are all stretched to the limit. This is championship leader Sean van der Linde, still in 8th, and let's see if he can get past Hannes Krobler. He's going to attack Krobler on the inside of the hairpin. It's hard on the brakes. Has he got him? Grant McCleary is looming just ahead. He cuts across the line to stop van der Linde coming fast out of the corner. Van der Linde goes wide a little bit onto the dirt on the outside, but is past Krobler and one place closer to Briggs, but now he's got Grant McCleary to contend with. Joubert still followed by Taylor, White, Briggs, Damso, McCleary, and then van der Linde. Krobler, Nick de Waal, who's fallen back, and Dangor in the Vauxhall. Briggs will be happy with 2 cars between him and van der Linde, but the BMW driver will have the bit between his teeth. Down the straight with the wind in their backs once again, and White is pushing. He's going to try and dive through on the inside of Anthony Taylor again, but he locks up his brakes. He's left it too late, and here's trouble. White will never make the corner. Joubert cuts across in front of him. Where's Taylor? No, he's through, and White flat spots his tyres onto the dirt. He's going to kick himself. Let's take a look at that again from Mike Briggs' car. White tries to outbrake Taylor on the inside, but locks up his wheels. Taylor is hard on the brakes, and the Toyota slides off onto the dirt on the outside. Briggs is now up to third. This is white-knuckle stuff, on the limit of adhesion through the fastest part of the circuit at over 200 kilometers an hour, and Joubert has now opened up a handy lead over Taylor after that incident with Mike White. He wants maximum points for the manufacturer's challenge. Briggs is now third with a hard-charging Damso on his heels, and Grant McCleary with the best seat in the house. Briggs again into the hairpin. He wants to get another car between himself and van der Linde, but at the same time he's got to keep his nose clean and not get involved with a scrap with Damso or Taylor. The BMWs definitely seem to have the edge along the straights and the fast corners, but in the tight section, the Opels of Briggs and McCleary seem to close the gap. In the background, Nick de Waal is going places and goes past van der Linde. His gearbox still seems to give him trouble. Back with Briggs, and this time is closer to Anthony Taylor, with van der Linde having fallen a further position behind. Briggs can consolidate his point standing by getting past Taylor, and he does it. Into the hairpin before the main straight, he outbrakes Taylor, and he squeezes into second place. Past the pits they come, and now it's Joubert in the BMW, Briggs in the Opel, Taylor in the BMW, Damso in the Toyota, McCleary in the Opel, de Waal in the Sentra, van der Linde in the BMW, Krobler in the Sentra, Dangor in the Vauxhall, and a disappointed White in the second Toyota. Further back in Class B, touring car rookie Duncan Voss in his Nissan Sentra had absolutely no competition, leading a fierce battle between stalwart Jesse Huggett in his Alisa car hire Volkswagen Jetta and Kursi Swanepoel in his BMW 325IS. 5 laps have gone and the positions have remained unchanged. Briggs is on 6 points in second position, with van der Linde out of the points in 7th position. If they finish in this sequence, Briggs will have made up the 5-point deficit and turned it into a 1-point lead. But let's not start speculating. That's normally bad luck to the drivers. Taylor's tyres seem to have lost some grip, and here's somebody in trouble. It's Farouk Dangor's Vauxhall Cavalier. He locks up his brakes into the hairpin and is off into the dirt. That's his race over. Now we're in with Anthony Taylor into the arena. Briggs is up ahead, but he seems to be struggling with the handling of the Astra. Now you can clearly see how hard a driver has to work in the cockpits of these cars. Briggs' car is all over the place. The first 5 cars have pulled away a little bit from the rest of the field, and McCleary is past Damso. McCleary has put his Opel Astra's nose in front of the Toyota Camry of Serge Damso and gained another point. Damso is not going to like this. Yes, he shows his displeasure very clearly, and McCleary can be sure that Damso is not going to take this lying down. Meanwhile, the tension is tangible in the BMW pits as their championship contender is languishing in a non-point scoring position. And speaking of which, we're with the unhappy van der Linde, who needs to grab back his position from Nick de Waal in the Sentra. The 2 Sentras of de Waal and Krobler have had tyre problems during the latter parts of some of the races this season, and van der Linde is definitely closing up on de Waal. They're under-braking for the hairpin, and van der Linde is very close. They touch as van der Linde just edges a little bit too close, but it doesn't seem serious. Yes, a little wave from van der Linde to say, sorry, I didn't mean that. Here's the battle for the lead. Still, it's Dion Joubert with Mike Briggs close on his tail. Will Briggs be able to get close enough to snatch the lead from Joubert? The Opel handles better through the tight corners, but catching and passing are 2 different matters altogether. Keeping a careful eye on proceedings is Anthony Taylor in the BMW. Further back, Serge Damso has repassed Grant McCleary. Van der Linde is on 1 point in 6th, followed by Nick de Waal in the Sentra. Class B is still being dominated by Duncan Voss in his Sentra. Back with Briggs in second position, passing the pits and what must be a very happy pit crew. A result like this is exactly what the doctor ordered. Here's our Class B leader, Duncan Voss in his Nissan Sentra, who's running away. On the last lap for the other 2 competitors in Class B, and Swanepoel has passed Huggett. They'll have to be on the lookout for the leaders as Dion Joubert is storming down on them. This can have a major influence on the final result of the race, since the 2 back markers are involved in a battle of their own and might not give Joubert a clean road to pass. This could be just Briggs' chance. past the stationary car of Dangor they go, and Huggett immediately moves over to give the leaders enough space. But they're coming up to the arena, and this is where things could start happening. In with Briggs, he sees Huggett to the right. He moves over to the right. Joubert goes through, and now Briggs has got to do the same. Huggett takes his line into the horseshoe. Joubert locks up his brakes, and now Briggs will have to wait until they get into the straight again. It was a beautifully planned piece of timing by Joubert, which should wrap up the race for him. Headlights ablaze, our leader comes into the last corner before the checkered flag, but behind Joubert, Briggs still has to get past Swanepoel. But watch this. Huggett has tucked in behind Swanepoel, who has to give Briggs some room. Huggett is next to Swanepoel and takes him through the corner. That's racing experience for you. So a fine win for BMW and Dion Joubert, who gets the flag under cheers from his team, and Briggs comes in second to score 6 invaluable championship points. He probably doesn't know it yet, but Duval has passed Van der Linde for 6th position, handing Briggs a slender 1-point lead in the championship with 1 race to go. Taylor third, followed by Damso and McCleary.
It's very gratifying for me personally, but obviously for the team, we're severely disappointed, you know. We lost our lead now, and it's going to be a hell of a thing for Sean to catch back. Yeah, I'm very disappointed. I thought we had a very good chance of actually tying up the championship right after the first race.
I had gearbox problems, and I was battling to engage gears all the time. I mean, I just lost places. Like on the start, I had a very good start, and I went up to second, and I missed the gear from third to fourth, and stuffed everything up. All the oaks got past me.
Well, such are the swinging fortunes in motor racing, but a very happy crowd must be the Opel team.
You know, I really can't believe what's happened here. We're going to go. It's still not over, so I don't want to make any rash predictions here, but at least I'm in with the fight again, and it's going to go down to the last heat, and that's all I really wanted. I want to fight. You know, if I was going to lose, I want to lose it fighting, and if I'm going to win it, I'm going to win it fighting. That's the way I've raced all my life, and this one has certainly turned out to be my tightest yet.
So it's the most important race of the year, and it's I think if I'm going to earn my salary, it's going to be in this race. So whatever happens, I just got to stay in front of Van der Linde, and I've got to hassle him. That is my biggest role. If everyone else gets past me, he's got to be behind me. That's the bottom line, and Michael's just got to go for it.
Stay with us for highlights of round 21 of the Stanek South African Touring Car Championship. Stanek are the proud sponsors of the South African Touring Car Championship. Stanek, your motor vehicle finance specialists. With us, you can go so much further. The battle resumes in round 21 of the Stanek South African Touring Car Championship. On the grid, and the hearts are pounding.
I try and go as hard as I can, make up places, and I just hope for the best, that's all.
I think I've got to do the sensible thing here, and that is that I've got to beat Sean. I've got 1 point lead on him now, and that means I just have to beat him. So there's not going to be any heroics. I know that, you know, Serge and Mike and the Toyotas are going to be coming through. I'm going to try and not hassle them. I just want to finish ahead of Van der Linde, and that's all I'm trying to do.
So it's all down to the last 12 laps of the season, and what more can one ask for? The lights have turned green. Someone gets a bump. It's Dangor going to the back of Cropler's Nissan. Bodywork all over the place. Cars scattering. We're with Van der Linde. Duval is to his left. McCleary in front. Duval gets past. Van der Linde moves over to the outside. Duval is on the inside of Damso's Toyota Camry as they go into the sweep just before Potters. Oh, and they've touched. This could mean trouble, but Damso keeps his car under control, and Van der Linde can take up the chase. Through Potters, and it's Joubert, Briggs, Taylor in his slipstream. McCleary is past Damso. Then it's Duval and Van der Linde still in 7th. This is the view from Anthony Taylor's BMW, who sees that Mike Briggs is very close to Dion Joubert. There's some gravel on the track from a previous race, and into the arena, Briggs climbs hard onto his brakes to put as much pressure on Joubert as possible. He wants this win because he knows that Van der Linde will pull out all the stops to climb up through the field. There's only 1 point in it with 9 up for grabs. Damso is being pushed very hard by Nick Duval. Down the back straight, and everybody's trying to stay as close to the opposition as possible. At the beginning of the race, the tyres are still fresh and the cars are very closely matched. So any advantage to be gained will be jumped upon. McCleary defends his 4th position from Damso. Down the main straight they go, and the first 3 cars are in each other's slipstream. But look at McCleary and Damso in 4th and 5th. In with Nick de Waal in 6th position, and Damso has out-dragged McCleary down the straight. Just look at the centre catching up. They're very close to the sweep, and a touch here will be disastrous. But disaster for the unfortunate Farouk Dangoor after that start line incident with Krobler. And here's van der Linde. He's right up to de Waal and passes him on the inside of Potters. McCleary takes up the racing line, but van der Linde is on the roll. He stays in the middle of the track going into the hairpin, and there's Nick de Waal again. De Waal cuts across his bow and grabs back 6th position, but van der Linde has made his intentions abundantly clear. Down the back straight, and Briggs is back to 3rd. Anthony Taylor is into 2nd now and is trying to get Briggs further back and closer to van der Linde. The BMWs are riding shotgun for each other, but as long as Briggs is ahead of van der Linde, his championship hopes are still alive. This is Anthony Taylor now in 2nd position behind Dion Joubert, and just watch him working that steering wheel through the tight corners. It's Joubert, Taylor, Briggs and Damso, and de Waal is past McCleary. A tight formation into the last hairpin for the first 4, but look at those 3 just behind. De Waal is 5th, McCleary 6th, van der Linde 7th. Further back in Class B, Duncan Foss is again leading from Jesse Huggett and Kurzy Swanepoel. A lovely slide there from Swanepoel as the leaders swoop through in formation on the next lap. It's still Joubert, Taylor, and now Damso is up into 3rd position. Mike Briggs is steadily losing places, and I wonder whether he's got some kind of a problem with handling or his gearbox. We're in car with van der Linde as he pushes McCleary going into the hairpin. McCleary defends his position under braking. Van der Linde is very late on the brakes. He's going to try and take him on the outside. De Waal is very close ahead. Oh, van der Linde goes wide and onto the dirt. He gets a nudge from McCleary, who's desperately trying to keep him at bay. What are you doing, he says. This is car wars as the leaders once again enter the arena. Joubert is being hassled by Anthony Taylor, but Joubert is probably trying to slow the pace down to give van der Linde a chance to catch up. This is a high-speed chess game between BMW and Opel. The order is still the same as the remaining 7 Class A cars try to outbox each other. Apart from Farouk Dangoor, both Hannes Krobler and Mike White were eliminated from the race after that incident on the start line. Meanwhile, back in Class B, Duncan Foss is still running away from Jesse Huggett and Kurzy Swanepoel. But Swanepoel is gaining valuable experience at each outing, and he is soon going to be challenging the older boys in the class. It's now the 5th lap, and still Joubert is leading Taylor, Damso, Briggs and de Waal. Behind them, van der Linde and McCleary are fighting a war of their own. There goes McCleary's rear bumper. It must be because of an altercation between these two. But now his handling is going to be effective, which could just give van der Linde the chance he's been waiting for. Did they touch? Hard on the brakes and down into 2nd gear as the leading bunch goes through the hairpin. Even the marshals are engrossed in this battle. Back in car with Sean van der Linde, and once again McCleary holds the centre line. Quite legitimately, but van der Linde is getting more and more frustrated. Come on, man, he says, let me through, let me through. They're doing 160 before braking for the horseshoe, and van der Linde is on his tail. Something jumped off McCleary's wheel. They touch, and van der Linde muscles his way past. McCleary went onto the grass. Van der Linde is much too fast, but he keeps the car beautifully under control. Now there's only 1 car between him and Briggs. Here they are, Joubert, Taylor, Damso, Briggs and de Waal. And in the distance with his headlights on to show Joubert where he is comes Sean van der Linde. The tyres are starting to wear, and just look at that slide by Anthony Taylor. The tension is climbing higher and higher in the pits as all eyes are on the 2 protagonists in this enthralling high-stakes battle. The BMW pit crew sees their man edging closer to his rival for the championship. This is going to be one hell of a nail-biting finish. And just look at this, Serge Damso is challenging Anthony Taylor through the sweep, and they're neck and neck. This is racing right off the ragged edge, and none of the 2 is going to back off. Well, still right next to each other through Potters at over 200 k's an hour, and behind them de Waal is coming up to take Briggs. This is from de Waal's car. He has passed Briggs and is coming up to Damso and Taylor. Taylor closes the door firmly in his face, but de Waal has put Briggs back to just in front of van der Linde. from Anthony Taylor's car now. That's Serge Damso's Toyota Camry just ahead with Dion Joubert in the distance. So it's Joubert followed by Damso, then it's Anthony Taylor and Nick de Waal. Mike Briggs is down to 5th, just a few seconds ahead of his greatest rival, Sean van der Linde. The chips are down. If van der Linde can pass Briggs, they will tie the championship. Joubert has opened up a gap to Damso, who's been kept very busy by Anthony Taylor. De Waal is in turn keeping him busy, while the only thing that Michael Briggs is concerned about is to keep Sean van der Linde away from him. As we've said, catching is one thing, passing is totally different. That's the Opel pit crew, and the concern is clearly visible on their faces, while the BMW crew is giving van der Linde all the support they can muster. And this is Anthony Taylor and Nick de Waal battling for 3rd position, and once again Taylor has to hug the outside line through the sweep. Briggs is a little bit too close to my liking, because if anything goes wrong between the other two, he'll be in deep trouble. We're with Anthony Taylor into the hairpin, with de Waal next to him on the ideal line to pass on the inside, and yes, he's done it. De Waal is into 3rd. He might look calm and collected, but believe you me, this young man is extremely hard at work. The battle between de Waal and Taylor has given Damso some breathing space and allowed Briggs to close up again. He needs to put another car between himself and van der Linde, although it doesn't seem as if van der Linde is making any headway in catching up with Briggs. Now we're with Nick de Waal as he exits the horseshoe into the back straight. He wants to catch Damso. But oh, he's off the track. He's out of control. That's the wall. And Anthony Taylor, he's also spinning. What happened there? Taylor comes to a standstill, but let's see if we can see what happened. De Waal goes off into the dirt. He tries to catch it. Taylor's got nowhere to go. And oh, Mike Briggs almost gets taken out as well. Taylor spins off into the infield, but where's Nick de Waal? Van der Linde comes through the dust, but this is going to change things considerably. 4 laps to go, and Dion Joubert is still leading. Damso is 2nd, and they've just lapped Coersee Swanepoel's Class B BMW. Michael Briggs is into 3rd position, but just look at how close Sean van der Linde is to him. This is nail-biting racing action if ever there was. In with Sean van der Linde, and he's got only one thing on his mind, to catch and pass Mike Briggs to at least tie the championship. He's coming closer under braking for the hairpin. Briggs wanted a fight, and he's got a real fight on his hands now. Oh, Briggs is slowing. He has slowed right down, and van der Linde almost crashes into him. Something must have broken. What drama! Van der Linde cannot believe his luck. Is up into 3rd position. 4 points if he can hold that to the end. And the Camry is sandwiched between the 2 BMWs of Joubert and van der Linde. What rotten luck for Mike Briggs and the Opel team to be robbed of the title in such a way. That's the wreckage of Nick de Waal Sentra standing in a very precarious position on the track. Joubert comes through safely, so does Damso. In the pits, nobody's seen the drama on the track. Where are the cars? Joubert comes through, followed by Damso. And there's great jubilation in the BMW camp as they see their championship contender in a lonely 3rd position. On the last lap, and the leaders are coming up to lap Class B leader Duncan Foss in his Nissan Sentra. Dion Joubert has driven a copybook race and must be jubilant under his helmet for his teammate, who is only to finish the race to write the 1994 Stanek Touring Car title behind his name. Serge Damso and the Toyota team have once again put up a great performance to lie 2nd. Past the broken centre of Nick de Waal for the last time, and Joubert is about to take the checkered flag for the 2nd time today. He has slowed down, allowing Damso to come closer, but there's little doubt about the final result. And in 3rd position, earning himself 4 championship points and thereby beating Mike Briggs by 3 points for the title, is an ecstatic Sean van der Linde, just a week away from competing for his country in the Touring Car World Cup event at Donington. And can one blame them? A 1st and 3rd for BMW in the final round of the championship, with a fine 2nd for Toyota and a battling 4th for McCleary and Opel. 2 championship points for Duncan Foss in his 2nd outing. There's the victorious BMW team, whose hard work throughout the season finally paid off in gaining both the Stanek Touring Car Drivers' title and the manufacturers. and a fitting end to a great season for a formula that has and will continue to grow in stature.
I can't believe I was very down after the 30 with all the bad luck I had, but now I'm very, very happy. Thanks to my team.
And after 22 rounds of extremely competitive racing, the final point standings show that Van der Linde beat Briggs by just 3 points, followed by Dion Joubert and Grant McCleary 19 points apart. Nick de Waal ended 5th, followed by Hannes Frobler, Anthony Taylor and Mike Weiss.